Let's discover the secrets of Hogwarts Legacy. I've been addicted to Tunic, and I've got some thoughts. And it turns out that the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass is a pretty good deal. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown. My name is Victor Lucas, and I'm so happy to see you here in the Electric Playground. We've got a great episode for you filled with all kinds of magic, and it's brought to you by our friends at the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation, and they've got tournaments happening every single weekend that you don't want to miss out on. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg. And TGS has also launched a brand new platform that's called pepper.gg, and this is about giving a lot of power back to regular players and gamers that like to compete and get their buddies together and put on tournaments and stuff. You should check out pepper.gg if you happen to be one of those kinds of players. I think you'll find lots to like there. And of course, we've got a dedication for today's episode. This one is going out to Bound Diesel, who said people being weird about not seeing Starfield forget how it's typical for them to reveal their game shortly before release. And I did get a few other comments and people kind of bringing that up. I saw on Twitter as well that they are very calculated with the way that they do their marketing over at Bethesda, and they know what's going to get the biggest bang from lots and lots of experience with this. So I think that there's probably going to be some kind of huge Bethesda event where we're going to get lots of gameplay from Starfield, but it is getting a little bit crazy how many shots of concept art we have seen so far, with people chatting about aspirations and, you know, the stars in their eyes about wanting to go into space and stuff. I mean, I love it. This is the kind of stuff that I make, you know, lots of documentary type, behind the scenes type conversations like this, and I appreciate the artistry in the videos that have been crafted for us. But that doesn't stop me, and I think many of you, from going, when do we see this freaking game? I'm very excited. I want to play, I want to see Starfield, and I can't wait to play it. So my fingers are still crossed that it's going to be amazing. I think I put that in the number one spot for the 22 games that I was most excited for in 2022. And yeah, we'll see, man. It's now that Elden Ring is out, I think it's got its work cut out for it to, not beat, but supplant Elden Ring in my heart and many of your hearts out there as well. Anyways, let's talk about the new reveal for the Hogwarts Legacy that we saw in the State of Play today. PlayStation worked with Warner Brothers Games to put on a nice big taste of what we're going to see in Hogwarts Legacy, and it was a fantastic video. There was no room for me to talk as I streamed over it because they were just throwing feature after feature after feature, and of course there is all kinds of connection to the Harry Potter lore and all the stuff that we've seen in the movies and read in the books. What was really most impressive about what was revealed to us is how far the developers at Avalanche have kind of extended outward and have given the players access to areas that we haven't ever seen before. They pointed out the Hufflepuff Common Room, which is very cool, but the idea that we can kind of walk around Hogwarts and go and explore some of the animals, the magical animals, and the environments around this amazing magical school is incredibly inspiring, and it does look like it's going to be a very exciting experience. Loved seeing the Quidditch glimpses that we saw, and also cruising around on the Pegasus. Is the flying horse a Pegasus? I think it's a flying Pegasus. I think it's a Pegasus. Might be something else. You guys can correct me. But there's some beauty shots of being able to kind of fly over the landscape and see the entirety of the world that they've crafted for us. And it was beautiful. And also all of the interior designs and all of the sort of, they call it a sentient school or a sentient building. So, you know, things are moving and constantly shifting form and stuff, just like we saw in the films. And of course, this is a game that takes place before the events of the Harry Potter franchise or the Fantastic Beasts movies and books that we've been able to get from J.K. Rowling. But there is also the sore spot in all of this as well, because of course J.K. Rowling's been in the news for all the wrong reasons over the last little while. And my heart kind of goes out to the creative team at Warner Brothers, but also working on this game, and all of the, you know, craftspeople and actors and everybody that's building out the wizarding world, having to kind of distance themselves from some of the inane comments that J.K. Rowling has made, especially when you see the craftsmanship and the love and the, the attention to detail and the world building that has gone into something like this. It was an extraordinary state of play, and I'm super excited to build my own character and to learn all of the new skills and new spells that we get, and to meet the, probably the predecessors to some of the characters that we know from the movies and the books. And see them walking around, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what's about to happen kind of stuff. My only kind of concern with the storytelling in this is that I don't want there to be too many echoes of familiar set pieces or moments or phrases. We had a lot of that to live through with the Star Wars games over the years, where they were always repeating phrases from the Star Wars classic trilogy, and it used to drive me crazy, because this game doesn't need to remind us that we're in the wizarding world. It just needs to fully take advantage of that and wash over us and help us to kind of, escape into it. And it looks like that's exactly what these developers have been able to do. It's a big deal that Warner Brothers and Sony worked out this deal to have this state of play, stop traffic, basically, for all of us to pay attention to it. And I think it was mission accomplished. I think they did an amazing job putting the feature video together and then also taking us a little bit behind the scenes. It's a big game. And honestly, I think it's very shrewd of them to take this space at this point in the year, not wait until the crowded summertime marketing season when all kinds of hubbub is going to be out there for all kinds of games, and say, look, you guys should really pay attention to this thing because it looks like it's something special. There is no disputing the imagination and the power of that imagination. I can see it in my 10-year-old daughter. She is currently reading the stories again after watching the movies several times, and we read all of the books together. She is growing in her love and her admiration for this world. So the fan base is out there, and clearly fans are working on this game as well. So fingers crossed it's going to turn out great, but God, that was a good showing. All right, we've got some other things to talk about, including the brand new game that was just dropped yesterday that has become a new obsession for me. It's called Tunic. ID at Xbox had a presentation yesterday, and they showed off a bunch of indie games that are coming out over the next several months, but they also surprise dropped Tunic on everybody, and it's a Game Pass game, so you don't even need to purchase this title if you're a Game Pass subscriber. You can just download it to your Xbox or your PC. I also saw it on the Steam store as well, and I've downloaded it to the Steam Deck. And this is a top-down, third-person Zelda-like, where you play this cute little fox, and you get embroiled in this big adventure where you're trying to explore and rescue what looks like some dead soul that is trapped. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of mystery in this game, which I have been able to kind of grapple with and understand. It's a big world that is geometrically crafted and designed. It's almost like an M.C. Escher kind of painting, where you can go behind 3D objects and kind of not know exactly where you are. And so it definitely plays with perspective and the shift of perspective as you try to navigate through the world and uncover, mysteries and open chests, and there is also a tremendous amount of battling with different types of enemies, and therein lies one of the issues with the game as well, because the combat in the game is a little bit more punishing than you would expect out of the cutesy kind of visual stylings of it. It does look incredibly inviting and like it's going to be just a chill kind of cakewalk. You're just going to get it looks like it's going to play exactly like a Legend of Zelda type of experience, and there's a lot of obvious allusions and throwbacks to a lot of Zelda type puzzle solving and combat and conflict and stuff, but the enemies are actually quite tough in this title. Oh my god. Health! Oh my god. I'm trapped on that rock. Back up. Woo! No! And they can come at you en masse and with abilities and weaponry and stuff that you are just not equipped to deal with. There's almost like a Soulsborne kind of quality, like a Zelda type of experience for people that have been playing Elden Ring. And I thought it was going to be the antidote to that. I thought it was going to be a lot more casual and just fun and sort of kid-friendly. And boy, it's much tougher than that. It's built with a tremendous amount of intricate detail and precision, but I have struggled, I have to say. And I'm not super deep into it. I'm probably about 4 hours into it because I streamed it for a couple hours and I played some more last night, played some more today. And I have been in places where I've been dying over and over again, and enemies have been getting me, and then I've figured out some of the patterns just like you would in a Soulsborne game, and I've been able to go back and do a little bit better and inch along, but it has been pushing me back, and it's been surprisingly challenging, not without its frustration because of that, you know? Like, I've got these flying creatures that will shoot at me and they'll freeze me, which is kind of crazy, but you can use your shield in some pretty clever ways, and you can bounce back attacks, which comes in handy, and you definitely need to do that. You're also always picking up different kinds of weaponry, like being able to pick up dynamite sticks and hurl those, and you get new abilities and stuff as well as you move along. And one of the best things about the game is that you are actually uncovering pages of an instruction book, and which is handled with the same kind of level of detail and artistry that we find in the actual game design and in the level design and the gameplay. And it's absolutely extraordinary. So I definitely have a lot more to play of Tunic, and there's a lot more to learn about this game, but even though I have a bunch of other titles that I'm sort of working on and playing through right now to get back to you with reviews on, this one really stole my attention yesterday. So I am going to review it fully. I'm going to because I'm obsessed now, so I got to dive back into it, and somehow I've got to manage my time with all of these freaking games that are launching right now. It's nuts, but Tunic is special, and I know a lot of you have already discovered that because you've downloaded it through Game Pass, but the review scores are high, and so far what I've played, it deserves these accolades and this attention. The one thing that I will say, though, is that if you haven't played Death's Door and you're playing Tunic, they almost exist as, sister games, or like a pseudo sequel or something. Like they almost, you can almost feel like they're from the same universe in a way. But Death's Door is absolutely exquisite, and I believe it is now also on Game Pass as well. It wasn't when it launched, but don't sleep on Death's Door if Tunic is something that you're really enjoying, and maybe you're finding it a little bit frustrating or a little bit too tough, but definitely check out Death's Door as well. But Tunic is special, and I'll come back with some more thoughts for you very soon. Right now, though, I want to talk a little bit about what Nintendo has been working on with Nintendo Switch Online. Just found out that the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack has added a bunch of new Genesis games to its collection. We've got Alien Soldier, we've got Light Crusader, and we have Super Fantasy Zone. And these games have all just released. They're available right now on Nintendo Switch Online if you've got the subscription. And of course, when they announced the expansion pack, and there was a lot of hesitation about the pricing and the value proposition based on that expansion pack, it was pretty hard to kind of justify what Nintendo was asking for that extra bit of money because of the lessons that we had learned from the initial Nintendo Switch Online releases, where there'd been a bit of they've been kind of sparse. We hadn't received a whole bunch of new titles on the NES or Super Nintendo portions of the Nintendo Switch Online stuff. There were some other extra elements like being able to play Tetris 99 and some other types of online experiences, but there was this absence of new content, and so there was a lot of skepticism, for myself included, about what Nintendo was going to do with their Genesis library and also with the N64 library. Well, we've since seen that the N64 has gotten games like Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. I was streaming some F-Zero X the other day, and they've been adding more and more N64 stuff, which is pretty cool. And they've also added a bunch more Genesis titles. And so today, after receiving news that some really cool classic Genesis titles like this Light Crusader, which was, I believe, another Treasure game. I know that Alien Soldier is developed by Treasure. Treasure was like the Rare for the Sega Genesis in a way. They were working on so many cool games in partnership with Sega, and a bunch of them are available in the collection that's available on the Switch, which is really cool. But they also have Super Fantasy Zone, which is just this trippy, wild cute-em-up instead of shoot-em-up. With beautiful visuals and wacky weapons and crazy enemies, addictive music. And these are like some seminal sprite-based experiences that I think are so important to preserve and to gift back to the sort of current gaming crowd that's out there. And I'm finding with Nintendo Switch Online's N64 stuff, my family and I are playing stuff on that all the time. Like, not only did I play F-Zero, but I've been playing a lot of Dr. Mario, and dipping into some of the other games as well. But it is really proving itself as something of real value, and I think that's also underlined by what's happening with the Mario Kart games, the Mario Kart tracks. We're getting their first wave of new courses tomorrow, and of course, what Nintendo is doing with all of these is they're taking tracks from various incarnations of the Mario Kart franchise. They're making waves of new courses. I think each wave has 8 courses, and they're making 6 waves, so there's almost 50 new courses that are becoming over the next year and a half-ish. By the end of 2023, they're promising. And so you can buy all of these courses, the booster pack, and get all of these different courses added onto Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But the value proposition is crazy if you've got the Nintendo Switch Online subscription plus the expansion pack, because that's just added as part of the extra bonus. And when they announced that, it was... that, I think, changed the conversation completely about this subscription and why I feel like it's kind of an essential. Like, if I have a parent that's going to ask me about the Nintendo Switch, I can wholeheartedly recommend the machine. There's enough great titles on it. It's incredibly diverse in types of software. There's lots of classic stuff that you can purchase for it. There's lots of really incredible new stuff. It's not the most powerful machine out there, but just the core library that you can buy in physical or digital form is really incredible. But I think I also now would say to those folks, just like I would say if anybody's buying an Xbox, definitely pick up Game Pass. You're going to want that. You want that subscription. And I have said that. I had parents ask me about that. But now I'm also feeling like I absolutely would recommend the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. The amount of extra built-in value, not only being able to see these classic experiences, but the Animal Crossing element there and the Mario Kart booster pack courses. It's an incredible deal. And I think it underlines why the Switch is such a special machine, There's a ton of Nintendo history that you get out of the box if you subscribe to something like this. And obviously it can improve, and there are rumors that the Game Boy is next, and Nintendo keeps reapproving or resubmitting trademark extensions on classic Game Boy games and other types of games. And so the speculation is out there. I've talked about the Game Boy coming to the Switch and how important it would be. I would love to see Game Boy Advance stuff on the Nintendo Switch OLED screen. And there's just this great kind of, a connection there, from the roots of Nintendo's portable imagination to what is current on the Nintendo Switch would be just amazing. I would love to see that. So hopefully that happens. But even as it exists right now, yes, it's emulation. And yes, there are little things that bug me about it, like some of the pop-up UI stuff on some of the classic stuff that we play. And there's not a lot of flexibility in terms of how you're able to see those titles. There's no, putting raster lines or anything like that. Just the fact that you can play them, and some of them just play so well. Plus, Nintendo has done a pretty good job at recognizing that improvements need to be made to some of the emulated software is great. I've had no issues, by the way, with any of the Sega Genesis stuff. That stuff has just run flawlessly and been really, really fun to jump into. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. I feel like there was a lot of justified hesitation, but I think they're really smoothing things over, and it feels like that subscription is going to become an essential part of the Nintendo Switch experience, especially if you like games as much as I do, and I know you guys do. But I want to know, are you guys Nintendo Switch Online subscribers, and are you happy with it? Do you think Nintendo's doing a good job? And more importantly, what should they be doing now? What should they be doing to even extend that out? And I guess one question that I will posit as well is, what will they do if they add more consoles? If they add the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance or GameCube or Wii or whatever, Are they going to add an expansion pack plus? Is it going to be Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack 64? Like, what are they going to call it? And what are they going to price it? Do they eventually just scrub out all of this delineation and just say it's, here's our online service and it's this much a year and you get all of this stuff? Or is it going to be, tiered out like this, and they have to come up with new branding because it's confusing with plus expansion pack. It's weird to say that to somebody. Yeah, you're going to want the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack, and they're like, "What is it? It's online though. What do I need an expansion pack for? Do I need is it a physical thing that I plug into this? It's just weird branding." So give me your thoughts on all of that. I know it's a big topic, but I am very happy to see these new Genesis titles, and I can't wait to play all of these new Mario Kart tracks with my family. All right, I've got a couple of other things that I want to tell you about, some games that are headed our way very soon. We're going to start with Sniper Elite 5, which is coming out this spring. This is a pretty cool franchise from Rebellion, and I have to tell you that I find, it's really violent and really gritty. You play a sniper in World War II, and you take out all kinds of Nazis, and you see the gruesome details of bullets impacting on the Nazis' heads and things like that. But it's really easy to play, and I streamed it one day, and I'd sort of dabbled with the Sniper Elite games, but I'd never reviewed one. I think other team members on the Reviews on the Run squad had reviewed a lot of the Sniper Elite titles from the past, but I played Sniper Elite 4 on the Switch, and had a really good time, and then I checked it out on the Xbox Series X, and I just find it really fun. Like, it's just really enjoyable. It's really well crafted, and the objectives of sneaking into bases and not getting seen and laying down decoys and using positions and weapons that the Nazis have against each other, hiding from the planes that are scouting you. I just find it incredibly addictive, and it never gets tiring. Killing these freaking Nazis. I don't know what it is. It's just really fun to destroy these freaking Nazis. So Sniper Elite 5 is headed our way. It doesn't look like it's earth-shattering reinvention of what the idea is or the visuals of what the game is kind of setting up for us. It doesn't scream like I've never seen anything quite so beautiful before, or like taking full advantage of what the current generation of consoles is available or capable of. But it sure does look fun, and it sure does look like we're going to be destroying a lot of Nazis, which not a bad time. And so I'm looking forward to playing this one, and I'm looking forward to streaming it. It comes out on May 26th. And I've got one more game that I want to talk about, and I can't wait for this one. I was a massive fan of Moss when I played that on PlayStation VR. You can now get it on everything. It's on Oculus, and it's on the Steam store as well. And you play this little mouse that goes out on an adventure, and one of the cool things about this VR experience is that you're the camera. So you are this sort of disembodied spiritual or ethereal companion to this little mouse, this brave little mouse with his tiny sword, and you help this character. You're not just moving Moss around with the controller, but you're also utilizing another thumbstick to point at things and maybe activate things. But sometimes you also sort of lean into the experience. You can see the reflection of yourself. And so Moss Book 2, the one thing that I would say about Moss Book 1 is that the ending came too soon. Like, it was a bit of a short experience because it was so fun to play, and I just wanted to stay with it. But it was a huge success, and it totally justified in its success because it's an amazing game. So hopefully what we're going to get out of the sequel is a much more expansive adventure, and there's more to do, and a big liftoff on a lot of the ideas and the concepts from the game, and we're going to see a lot more elaborate detail. I'll be playing this one, and hopefully I'll be able to stream this for you guys. I've got my PlayStation 5 all set up to play the PSVR Gen 1 that I have, so it's like Dongle City, but hopefully everything is plugged in and works just fine. I'll be getting a review code very soon for you, but it's coming out quickly, and I think that this is one for any of the PSVR fans that are out there to really pay attention to. Definitely dive into that first Moss, and you can play it on a bunch of different platforms. I think it's exclusive to PSVR. The sequel is exclusive to PSVR, at least for a while, but I believe it will be coming to everything else out there. But it's coming up quick. It's coming on March 31st is when Moss is going to be hitting the PlayStation VR, and I can't wait to play it. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support of our channels, both the YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV, and also our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN. Thanks for following and subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified. You guys rock. And, of course, thank you to all of our subscribers and our EPN members. Couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. And until then, play forever.